Okay, fashion in the 90s consisted of different styles, beginning with neon colors. Although neon colors were typically classified popular in the 80s, it very well carried into the 90s. Just bright and baggy were really the big concepts of the 90s. Another big trend was flannel tops, oversized, beat up, dingy looking shirts. Usually they wore them unbuttoned, kind of just like really more casual than anything. A big influence that carried into the fashion world was the hip-hop scene. Hip-hop music kind of came in the 90s and introduced the baggy look, such as MC Hammer pants, which was basically droopy pants that were tapered at the ankle. Together with that was the tracksuit, which was in reference to Run DMC, a hip-hop group who basically it became one of their signature looks. Two of the most hated fashion statements were known as sagging. Come on, everyone knows what I'm talking about. When people wear their pants all the way, showing all their underwear and things that people don't want to see. Another thing is the bodysuit. How are you supposed to do anything with the bodysuit? Popular home interior designs or home items that were commonly found in homes were ranging from exposed brick walls, leather couches, wicker furniture. A big item that a lot of people went out and bought was the George Foreman grill. Basically, when you think about the 90s, you think the George Foreman grills, the Rachel haircut, you think bright and baggy, and you think about the huge impact that the music industry had.
There are a few movies that I would like to think we all can agree if I say they were one of the best in the 90s. Shawshank Redemption. It was released in 1994 and the box office collected $27 million. Toy Story. It was released in 1995 and the box office collected $191 million. Titanic was released in 1997 and the box office collected $600 million. Forrest Gump, released in 1994 and the box office collected $329 million. Lion King, released in 1994 and the box office collected $312 million. Selena, released in 1997, the box office collected $35 million. And last but not least, Jurassic Park, which was released in the summer of 1993 and the box office collected $914 million. These are a few of the cartoons that came out in the 90s. Doug, 1991 to 1994, and later 1996 to 1999. Rocko's Martin Life, 1993 to 1996. Pinky and the Brain, 1995 to 1999. Tiny Toons Adventures, 1990 to 1995. Bobby's World, 1990 to 1998. Space Ghost Coast to Coast, 1994 to 2004. The Chick, 1994 to 1996. Beavis and Butthead, 1993 to 1997. South Park, 1997 to present day. Family Guy, 1999 to 2002 and 2005 to present day. Futurama, 1993 to 2003. Animaniacs, 1993 to 1998. Ren and Stimpy, 1991 to 1996 and later 2003. King of the Hill, 1997 to 2009, and The Simpsons, 1989 to current day.
Okay, in the 1990s we had Bill Clinton as president for most of it. He was a dominant political figure in international affairs during the 1990s, especially known for his attempts to negotiate peace in the Middle East. And in the end, ongoing wars occurring in former Yugoslavia, his promotion of international action to decrease human-created climate change, and his endorsements for advancing free trade in the Americas. What he was better known for was the Lewinsky scandal, where he was caught in a media frenzied scandal involving inappropriate relations with a girl who was at the time an intern in the White House, Monica Lewinsky. Later there would be more to follow, but they didn't really make it in the news as much as she did. It was first announced on January 21st, 1998, after the U.S. House of Representatives impeached Clinton on December 19th, 1998 for perjury under oath. After following an investigation by federal prosecutor Kenneth Starr, the Senate acquitted Clinton of the charges on February 12, 1999, and he finished his second term like a real president. Okay, the Gulf War happened. It was pretty much a result of Kuwait jacking up their oil prices and Saddam Hussein not having any of it after Iraq and Iran went to war. Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait in 1991. Or no, 1990. As a result, the UN condemned the action and had had the United States send over troops to eradicate the Iraqi people in Kuwait, thus leading into the Gulf War.
Toward the end of the 80s, hair metal, or pop metal, was getting old due to the lack of talent and the fact that bands in the genre only had like 2 good songs. People were looking for something new, something without crazy hair, spandex, or Bret Michaels lookalikes. And in '88, Nirvana released its first album, Bleach, which unexpectedly gained a huge underground following. This happened right after bands like Queensryche, Meatloaf, and Poison's hits started moving to the bottom of the billboards. By '93, there were no hair metal bands on the charts. Ice-T, who also got started in the late 80s, started hitting the charts in '92. Using Schoolie D's PSK album as inspiration, Ice-T was considered the first gangsta rapper. Gangsta rap is a subgenre of music that reflects the violent lifestyles of inner-city youths and typically deals with subject matters such as sex, racism, street gangs, drive-by shootings, drug dealing, and materialism. As you would suspect, this caused a great deal of controversy from left and right-wing politicians alike. A few years later, brutal death metal band Cannibal Corpse, along with hip-hop acts Ghetto Boys and Two Live Crew, were accused by Bob Dole of undermining the character of the United States. The allegations were futile and nothing happened. Around this time, Tupac, Boyz II Men, Usher, and my personal favorite, Bone Thugs and Harmony, were cranking out hits year after year and making Billboard charts. The music of the mid-90s was hip-hop. It's important to note, however, that while all these genres and subgenres were coming out, there was a huge change in the metal scene after the 80s. Metal fans had been betrayed by their own kind with hair metal. Bands like Death, Cynic, Cannibal Corpse, At the Gates, and Suffocation were rising up, taking more influence from their successful predecessor, thrash metal. These bands, while never making billboards in the United States, did a huge part in reuniting metal fans in the United States and were also very influential worldwide. These bands helped bring new spice to the metal genre, and soon bands like Necrophagus started releasing albums with virtuoso-level technicality and talent, the exact opposite of their hair metal wannabe brethren. As the decade came to an end, boy and girl bands like Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC started popping up on the charts as well. However, in '94, Kurt Cobain committed suicide, or was shot by his wife Courtney Love, depending on who you ask. This was the single biggest boost in publicity for the band's work, as well as their genre. By '99, alternative hits were all over the top 100. Bands like Sugar Ray, Third Eye Blind, Matchbox 20, and a score of other alternative bands littered the Billboard charts.
At the end of the 1990s, in the very last few moments of 1999, there was much panic over a looming crisis. This crisis was Y2K. Y2K was a problem concerning computer clocks rolling over from the date 1999 to 2000. This was thought to cause bank failures, plane crashes, and power outages. In the approaching years, there wasn't as much concern for this problem, but near the very end of the 1990s, it really hit people that this could be a major issue. However, when the 1990s actually concluded and 2000 started, Y2K wasn't much of a problem. It turned out that nothing really happened, and it's in dispute whether or not a major amount of computer failures actually occurred. So in the end, Y2K turned out alright.